Jackie, by the way, did you share this link in our Discord channel and everything?
Yes, I did, boss.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, hey, I'm pumped to come to you guys today and share with you this case study about how I took a deal from being dead, completely dead, to making a $30,000 fee. Now, you guys might be like, come on, that's crazy talk. How are you doing that on a deal like that? How are you going to take something that's completely dead and make money on it? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. But before I get into talking about how I took a dead lead, something that was no one was getting paid on, no one was going to make it. What's going on? I got someone in the live saying, "Hey Nathan, good to see you." Today is the case study in the webinar on how I took a dead lead to making a 30,000 fee. But before I get into this this deal and explaining everything, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my backstory, a little bit how I got started, and tell you a little bit about myself, so you can kind of all relate to what I'm going through, because I believe we all go through pretty much the same journey. Okay, so when I started, I originally started wholesaling because I was doing door-to-door sales. I was making good money, but the problem with door-to-door sales was I had to move every summer to go like work. Every summer I'd be in like Texas, I'd be in Indiana, and I would knock door to door, sell dish satellite, and it was good money. But I was tired of moving like back and forth, and I got married. So I said, okay, what can I do to make a lot of money? Because that was originally what I wanted to do. I said, what can I do to provide for my family, to make money, and use the skills that I've acquired throughout my life of, I like talking to people. And I thought about real estate. I think most people probably think about real estate when they think about, okay, what career path can I go into that will provide the financial freedom and the the time that I want with my family. Because the thing is, Lucy, you're on here. I know you probably didn't get into wholesaling or real estate because you love wholesaling, right? Did you get into it because you just love the thrill of the wholesale deal?
To be honest, not really. And I know that, I guess the way I was approaching it was a bit stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that the barrier to entry I felt was higher because I initially wanted a rental.
Mm-hmm.
And I contacted an agent in my area about a listing, and he went to do a showing on this really, really cheap townhouse. And he, instead of doing an Airbnb, which might be, a pain in the neck.
Right.
And he was like, I know you're young and then you still want to do education and all that and save up for a car. He was like, how about you do this? And then he taught me about wholesaling. I was like, it blew my mind. I was like, what? I can build capital like that?
Yeah,
I was
like, you can make money with no money, right? So exactly. So I was the same way. I was like, wow, I want to make money with no money. And hold on, that sounds like it's echoing. All right, Nathan, mute yourself. All right, there you go. Yeah. So anyway, that was my story and how I got started. I was like, what can I do right now to make money with the skill set that I have to provide the freedom and the financial freedom and the time that I want? And I don't want a boss. I don't want a boss, because after I quit my job from door to door, I went out and started interviewing with a bunch of people. I put on a suit and I would start and talk. I would go and talk and do interviews. I interviewed with an insurance agent, to be an insurance sales guy. I interviewed for like a medical sales expert, and these guys that were interviewing me were like judging me. They were looking me up and down like, I don't know if you got what it takes, Nate. And in my mind, I was like, I don't need this. I don't need someone to judge me and I get qualified to get a job. Forget this. So then I found out about wholesaling and I was like, I'm in. I can do this. I don't have anyone telling me like that. Let's give me the checkbox to work for them. I can do it myself. So I went into wholesaling. And again, the reason why I did it, and the reason why I think a lot of people do it, is I wanted financial freedom. I wanted to be my own boss, and I wanted to have, work for myself and have freedom. That's what I wanted. And even deeper than just the freedom and the money, I wanted to provide a lifestyle for my family that was better than what I grew up with. And I grew up in middle class and it was fine. But as a kid, you see all the rich kids that have like the super nice Abercrombie and stuff. And you're like, man, I wish I had that. And you don't have that. So for me, I was like, man, it would be great to create that lifestyle for my kids, make sure they're not spoiled, but deep down, like, give them what they need, teach them correct principles, teach them how not to be spoiled, but give them what they need. So when they ask for, to play baseball or basketball, they don't feel ashamed, kind of like I did. I was like, man, we don't have money for those things. And I wanted to do more things, but I didn't because I was young and I knew we didn't have money. So that's the deep down the reason why I wanted to, create this financial freedom, this business. Okay. So again, it all came to wholesaling. All right. So again, you guys are probably like, what does this have to do with this 30K deal? I'm getting there. Okay. I'm getting there. Just stick with me. So I got into wholesaling and I was taught how to do it. Okay. I was taught that you have to go find a deal. So that's what I did. I started hitting the phones. I got a Mojo dialer, started dialing right through that thing and was just dialing for 3 months. And I did not know what I was doing. When people were yelling at me, I was getting really fired up and pissed because I was like, how dare that person talk to me like that? I was getting mad, but I was calling, finding the deal first. That's what I was taught. And that's what most of you are taught. So I eventually got my first deal within 3 months with my business partner. It was $5,000. We had to split it, $5,000 in half, $2,500 each. 3 months of work for $2,500, that sucks. I was making way more than that back in the day, but I believed in the process because everyone said it works, okay? So the next thing I did, I started flyering and knocking doors. I got another deal. It was massive, massive action. What do you guys think I did immediately once I started making enough deals? I stopped taking the action and I hired it out because I was like, forget this. I'm not trying to call all day. I'm not trying to knock doors, flyer. I'm going to hire it out. So this has been, in a nutshell, the journey of a wholesaler, or at least for me. And if you guys don't believe me, I went on, what's his name? Real Estate Disruptor, Steve Strang's podcast, and told this story. This has been my story for like the last 2 to 3 years. As I work really hard, get a deal, make a lot of money, and then I'd hire out marketing. And then it would go, I'd spend all that money, spend thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing. It would go back down. I'd get a deal. I'd make money. It'd go back down. Deal money. The business has been nothing but a roller coaster ride, the way that I was taught to do it. I tried the vehicles. I tried to get deals consistently. Cold calling. I would pay. When I first started, I paid my homies from college $15 an hour to cold call. Spent 3 months of them cold calling, didn't get a single deal. So spent like what, 5-10K, back down to zero in my bank account, or not zero, but close. Then we get a deal. Then I was like, let's go pay-per-click. Pay-per-click works. I've heard pay-per-click works for a lot of people. Got a pay-per-click deal, made about $50,000. Kept spending money on pay-per-click, went down. And then I was like, let's do texting. Texting worked for a while. Texting was good, but guess what happened to texting? Rules, regulations, everyone got into it. Then I made money, went down. And that has been the story and the failure of, I think, most wholesalers. They see that they can make money, so they spend it. They work hard, they hustle, they grind, they make money on their own, and it feels good. Then they try to hire it all out because they're tired of grinding, and then they freaking blow all their dough. Unless you are an amazing leader and you're amazing at building teams, the wholesaling model, in my opinion, is flawed. I think the fact that you go out and spend a ton of money, build a huge team, you have to pay everyone, you have to spend marketing. It's just it's just like a rat race. It really is. And the reason why I'm hitting you guys with the truth is because I didn't figure out how to do this business until later. Okay. But I want to say another thing about the wholesaling model of going to find deals, spending money, building a team. It's difficult to manage. Okay. It's inconsistent. And especially right now with the way the market shifted, you don't want to spend all your money and energy on leads that they're not going to pan out because people are dumb and they want too much and their house isn't worth it and buyers aren't paying that much. Okay. So this is what happened to me, up and down for about 3 years. Okay. And I went through so much mentorship, so much courses, them telling me exactly how to do it. I did everything they did. I'm not an idiot. I know how to run businesses. I know how to work hard. I eventually ran to this guy. I was $50,000 in debt because of all my marketing spend. I was. And he said, this is my mentor, Brandon Simmons. He said, Nate, you need a JV. You need to stop trying to find deals and just work with people that already have deals and find buyers for them. And I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like nobody's going to give me their deals. No one cares about me. And he's like, dude, you got to stop looking at people as competition, and you got to look at people as you can work with them and help them out. And I was like, okay, let's talk about it. So I started reaching out to wholesalers on Facebook groups every day, 50, 100 messages a day, just saying, hey, because at this point I knew how to dispo deals. I just didn't have a lot of deals that I had. So I started reaching out to people. Within 3 months, I had made over about $70,000 in through JVing. And these came from a JV deal a deal I had where I had a JV with someone because they had buyers and I did not. There was a $50,000 deal I did where I could not find a buyer, but I knew someone in my group that bought or was a wholesaler, and he's like, hey, I have a buyer. Let's split it. So it was a $100K deal. He said, I'll give you 50, I'll take 50. He ended up buying it because it was a good deal, and he ended up making 150,000 on the flip. He flipped the house. Okay. So because I was willing to JV and work with people in my network, I was able to make money on a deal that I wouldn't have made. And then I reached out to some other people and sold their deals. Okay. So I started realizing, I was like, what's the difference between what I've been doing for the last 4 years of this freaking roller coaster ride and what I'm doing now where I'm making money with basically no spend? What's the difference? And the difference was I knew the buyers that I was going to work with because I was JVing other people's deals. I had people I could work with, and I leveraged people that I networked. Okay. So that meant I stopped spending a ton of money on marketing. Okay. Now marketing is okay, but if you spend it without understanding who your target buyer is or who you're working with, waste of time, in my opinion. You're going to waste all your money. They say 90% of wholesalers, like people get into wholesaling, don't even do a deal. I know why, because you guys go in, you spend all your money and you blow it. And then you're like, dude, this sucks. It doesn't work. It does work. You're just doing it the wrong way. And that's kind of like what I realized, guys. And that's how I pivoted my business. And that's how I got this $30,000 deal with little to no marketing spend, actually zero marketing spend. And, didn't spend a lot of time on it. And let me go into explaining it right after this. So, right after I found out that JVing was really important, I knew that networking with people was going to be the key to making this a sustainable business that wasn't going to just drain me up and down, up and down. So I built a Facebook group, which everyone can do. I built a Facebook group and I started talking to everyone. I started talking to my buyers, started making relationships, going to RIAs. Okay. And there's so many other ways that you can do this. But I started focusing more on the buyer that paid the wholesaler than I did on finding the motivated seller. Okay. Because you can find motivated sellers, no problem, if you know who's going to buy it. But if you just look for motivated sellers, you're going to just waste your time and money because someone might not buy it. I've had to cancel like over 400 contracts because I didn't have buyers. Okay. And I thought they were deals. So let's talk about this deal that I did. For the last year, I've been talking on social media. I've been letting everyone know what I do. I buy homes and I flip, I fix flip, I do real estate. For the first 3 years when I was just marketing, I didn't want to tell everyone what I was doing. I just felt ashamed. I didn't feel like worthy or like I was good enough or good at my job. But then I said, look, I am good at my job. I'm going to start telling everyone what I do. So now my whole family knows what I do. Now all my friends know what I do. So I found out on this 30K deal, I found out that one of my family members had an apartment complex that they needed to sell. I was planning on buying it. I already knew who I was going to buy it with. I had the buyer in place. I was ready to go. I was going to partner with my friend who we were going to buy the apartment complex. So what ended up happening is interest rates skyrocketed. It didn't make sense to buy the deal anymore. So we were like, man, this deal is dead. And by the way, the deal was dead. I was trying to find someone else to partner with. Nobody else wanted it. It was a dead deal. Nothing was going to happen. Interest rates killed the deal at the price that the seller wanted it. It wasn't going to work. Because of the relationships I have, because of the painless wholesaling method I teach and getting to know your buyers, one of my buyers hit me up and said, hey man, I actually have someone I know that would take that deal. Would you want a JV on it if I can bring my buyer? And I said, yeah, I'm going to make nothing on it. If I can bring the buyer to my seller and they're happy with the offer, let's freaking do it. So he said, here's the guy's info. And we talked maybe for a couple hours in total, maybe 7 or 8 hours total. And I eventually was able to connect him with the seller. I didn't even wholesale this deal. I connected him with the seller. They agreed on a price. And then he said, what do you want for your fee? And I said, I don't know. What do you think's fair? He said 20,000. And I was like, could you do more? I was really hoping to make more. Could you do 30? He said, done deal. Great. So we signed an invoice and I got paid 30. Now, look, the fee is 30, but because of the way I structured with the JV, it was a 60-40 split. I made 60, he made 40. So I'm going to make 18, he's going to make 12. Who here would rather take $18,000 on a couple phone calls off of a dead lead than zero? Okay. Most of you would want to do that, is take 18,000 versus zero on a couple phone calls off of a relationship that you did not have in the beginning. I didn't have it, but because I didn't know that end buyer, but he had to buy it because he needed to put his money into something to help with his taxes before the end of the year, because this closed right at the end of December. So what I'm trying to tell everyone here is, if you want to avoid the roller coaster ride that I've been in for the last 3 years, you need to wholesale differently, especially with this market shift. You need to wholesale the right way. And I call it the painless way. And that's exactly what I teach. I teach exactly how to do deals with little to no marketing spend, where you have to spend any money, really any money on deals. I didn't spend any money on this. I'll teach you exactly how to do this so you can do this sustainably. A lot of you guys have jobs. You can do this, the painless wholesaling method, with a job. I have a job. My Investor Thrive is a job. It takes all my time. I'm still consistently doing deals every month because I know how to reverse wholesale. I know how to do the painless wholesaling method. If someone comes to me and says, Nate, I want to build a whole giant wholesaling business, I'd say, don't do it. It's probably not a good idea if you're probably just going to spend a ton of money and build the team. That's not the model I recommend. What I recommend is revert painless wholesaling. You can build a business out of it. You can build it big, but do not do the traditional way. In my opinion, I've tried it. I'm very smart. I'm a hard worker. I don't think it's the best model to build a business off of, because we're all in this to make passive income, right? We're all in this to get assets and grow. If you have a giant wholesaling business that has to do deal after deal after deal, you have to pay your employees and pay the overhead and marketing, when are you going to get to keep a property? You're not going to get to keep a lot of properties. You know why? Because you have to pay everybody and you're not going to get to keep stuff. Or you're going to say, hey, I want to keep that apartment complex. And your employees are going to be like, well, yeah, you still got to pay me 15%. And the transaction coordinator, everybody's going to say, I need to get my cut. And you're going to be like, well, shoot, I don't have the money to pay everyone unless I sell this deal. I don't get to keep it. So that's why the model of building a giant wholesaling business, I don't believe in. I've tried it. I don't think it's the best way. I believe reverse wholesaling, doing deals part-time or full-time if you want to do it enough, where you can find deals off the MLS, you find deals from other wholesalers. There's about 10, 15 different techniques to get deals for free that don't cost you any money. Building relationships is the most important thing. So what I want to invite you guys all to do, if you want to continue to do the old way that I tried for 3 years, up and down, and blow all your money and have nothing to show for it, go ahead. That's fine. You can do that. But I'm trying to tell you guys that the best way to do it is through relationships, painless wholesaling, reverse wholesaling. And I want to invite all of you to join me as I teach you guys how to do it. That's basically what this webinar is for, is to show you can do this job. You can do it part-time. You can do it full-time. You don't have to spend all your money and blow your money and your time. The deals that I do take me a couple hours, and I make more money because I have less overhead, less marketing spend, less all this trash that you got to pay for. Okay. So if you're interested, hit me up. All you got to do is DM me. I have what's called the Investor Thrive Mastermind. You guys have probably seen what it's called, the club as well, but I'm changing the mastermind. It's you get a discount if you pay for the whole year, but you can pay for it monthly. We just ask that if you join it, that you commit to a year. I give you everything you need. You have coaching. If you want, that's like kind of a community, and it gives you, the support. If you want one-on-one mentorship where you're like, hey, Nate, I want to work with you. I want your cell phone. I want to be able to call you in the middle of the night, which you shouldn't. But if you want to work with me one-on-one, that's a mentorship. And just set up a call. You can hit me up. Like I said, on any of the social media platforms, super easy. You just hit me up. That's it. So just if you're interested in doing wholesaling the right way, just go to the Facebook group, or you can just go to investorthrive.com. If you go to investorthrive.com, you can set up a time to talk to me. You can just join right there. You can go to our Facebook group. I mean, getting a hold of me is not the problem. So easy. But yeah, just hit me up here. You can DM me, and I'm right here, blah, blah, And guys, I'm helping people do this. You guys probably think like, oh, nah, Nate doesn't know what he's talking about. Daniel, who's in my program, made $120,000 in 3 months, and he just flipped this house off of some of the principles I taught him. I just did a deal in Columbia, South Carolina for it's just closed, and we're getting the check today. $11,400 to Noble, who's a student of mine. He's actually getting paid. I did a 60-40 split because he's in my mastermind. He's making $11,400. I'm doing $7,600 because he gets a bigger split because he's a part of my program. And we're both getting paid, and that's getting wired out today. Noble's going to go pick up his check. What I'm showing you, it's legit. It works. From this deal, it's true. Like this, I don't make this stuff up. This just closed. So I'm excited to work with you guys. If you want to work with me, if you don't, I plead with you, just don't do it the traditional way. If you value your time in your life, don't randomly just try and market if you don't know who's going to buy your deals. So at least find buyers first, okay? Because you're going to waste your time and your energy and your money, and I don't want you guys to do that. But I would love to work with you and show you the best way to do this, because that's what I've perfected over the last couple of months, years. So if you want to join the mentorship, well, this is the mastermind. This is the community that you get. There's also an academy that's like a self-study where you can do it all by yourself. It's a little bit less expensive, but you don't get any support. But if you go here, you can join. You guys should join now because it's I'm about to put the price up because you're going to have to actually, this is actually, you can pay monthly. I'm going to actually make people pay for a year. But if you join now, before I change it, you can just get in monthly. But yeah, the mentorship is there to help you guys out as well. And if you want to work with me directly, but that's what I got to say. Please do wholesaling the right way. I beg of you, or you're going to waste all your time and money trying to figure stuff out and end up with nothing. All right. So I want to open this up to any questions that you guys might have that are on the live or that are watching this, in the Google Meet or in the live. So what do you, does anyone have any questions about like the model that I do? And if you think it's like, if it's the right way to do it, if you think it's the wrong way to do it, I'm curious. I want to hear some feedback because this is the story that I believe a ton of you guys have been on. You go up and down, up and down, up and down. You go through like a roller coaster ride of getting deals and not getting deals.
Yo, Nate, it's funny. I'll chime in real quick.
What you got?
That's how, it's always funny when I kind of hear your story, because that's how we got connected, was because we had such similar experiences. For anyone that doesn't know me, my name's Nathan Valley. Last year I contracted over, I think it was 113 properties. And very similar story. I've worked where we, built an acquisitions team, had like 10 cold callers, ton of leads coming in, had, junior acquisitions reps, and I was kind of locking up all these deals and getting all these contracts and couldn't sell a whole lot of them because we didn't have buyers. We didn't start with the end in mind. And it's I know we've talked about it. It's crazy. We apply this principle to every other business except for wholesaling for some reason. Every other business, what's the foundational rule? You start with the end in mind, right? Nobody cares about a product unless you have somebody that's willing to buy it, somebody that wants it, right? So with wholesaling, our end client, our end buyer is the cash buyer, is the person we're selling these deals to. If we don't have that person, that's like us starting with a product and just saying, hey, who wants it? And it's a really, really, quick way to kind of lose a lot of money and spend a lot of time. And it's, it's just a lot of pains.
Bro, it's painful, brother.
In the process.
Yeah.
It is, man. It is. And guys, it's, it took me a while, to kind of learn. And, unfortunately I had to learn the hard way. And, as soon as I kind of made that pivot, and I opened up in a new market, I was like, hey, let me start with kind of the end in mind. it makes it everything else gets so much easier because you know what you can offer. You're not walking away from conversations wondering, man, I wonder if that was like a 5K deal or not, you know? And I said, no, I really wasn't sure. That you no longer have that issue. You're no longer making commitments that you cannot fulfill. You're no longer lying to sellers because you do actually have relationships with buyers. You do actually have a means to perform on the contract. So you can truly have conviction. And I'm kind of I'm a sales guy. Guys, convict when you're talking to people, whether it's a seller or even an agent, whatnot, conviction is a massive part of kind of your tone. And when you're speaking with the seller or an agent or whoever you're making an offer to. So, and then on top of that, marketing, ad spend, it's so huge. Yeah. Guys, you really don't need to do marketing in 50 states. You don't even need to do it in an entire state. But for me, where we did the 113 contract, it was for half of the state. West Michigan got a whole lot of deals, and you come to find out, there's only like certain parts where people actually want to buy, where investors actually want to do deals. It's pretty small. If we had just started with the end in mind, if we had started with those buyers, our marketing could have been a fraction. And then on top of that, because you're able to get so focused, you can absolutely dominate your space in every way, shape, or form. And most important thing, be profitable.
Yeah.
Actually have a profitable, at the end of the day, you're making a check and it's not getting diluted through marketing costs and acquisition commissions and all this stuff.
Yeah. It's like, who cares how much you made if you only get to keep a certain amount, right? Like this deal I just did with Noble, 100%. Dude, I get to keep the whole thing. Actually, I'm going to pay Jackie and AJ a little bit because they analyzed the deal for me. And I told them I'd pay them a little bit. So yeah, there you go. That's my spend. Now, it's absolutely crazy that it's being taught like this. I mean, I've spent so much money on marketing trying to get consistent deals. I'm actually talking to someone right here on Facebook Messenger while I'm listening to you, Nate, and he says, I'm not going to say who it is, but he's saying, Nathan, what can I do to get 2 deals a month consistently? I'm scrambling. I have no money left for pay-per-click. I've spent all my money. Is it just agent outreach? And he's asking me a bunch of questions on what he does. And I'm telling him that's why we're doing this, is because we actually have the blueprint on how to get deals step by step. So if you guys, I've been working on this. I know you guys have all seen the mind map, but this is the blueprint. I go step by step, telling you exactly what to do. I actually tell you on a 90-day action plan what to do in 90 days to get, guys, at least one deal. It's not going to be, I'm not going to fluff it and fluff it up until you're going to do thousands, especially if you're not consistent. But if you're consistent, I can guarantee you'll do a deal, because I'm actually going to go through this 90-day action plan with you guys. I'm going to start. I have to figure out exactly what day, but I'm going to go through the whole thing, do the whole actions. I'm going to do it live, and I'm going to show you guys that if you do what I'm saying part-time in 90 days, you'll be able to do at least, I don't know if I want to commit to like a certain amount of revenue or something, but I know you'll do a deal because that's how I do business. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So it's super, super exciting to actually, I wasn't even sharing my screen that whole time. I was showing you guys the mind map, the blueprint. So here's the blueprint that I've created that actually shows you step-by-step getting started, 90-day action plan, what actions to take on day 1 through 3, 4 through 6. Now, this is the thing. You can go through this blueprint by yourself. There's going to be the academy where you can just go through it. No, it's like a self-study, at-home study. You can do the mastermind, which is, there's going to be support from a group, or you can do the mentorship where I getting to work with you one-on-one. We meet every week. You get my cell phone number. You pick your poison. It's up to you. If you want to learn yourself, work with a group, or work with me. I've given different options so everyone can afford it. But I mean, you need to do business this way. And let me tell you one last thing. There's this giant wholesaling company in my market. They quit wholesaling. They stopped. Why do you think they stopped wholesaling, Nathan?
Not profitable, probably too much ad spend, not being able to actually, you know, close on the deals, you know, not be able to find buyers for them.
Bro, you nailed it right on the head. They weren't profitable. They had acquisitions managers. They were paying 12.
Also because I've been there.
Yeah,
Right.
we all have. I mean, guys, I don't have a huge wholesaling business. If I did, do you think I would be telling you not to do it? I'm probably the only guy that's giving you it straight. And I'm not saying you can't make money. I'm making money. I just made we just did a $19,000 deal, just another $30,000 deal. That's more money in a month than most people make all year. And I'm doing it part-time. It's crazy. It's amazing. So don't think you have to do it the other way. It's you don't. Okay. And I'm the only one that's going to shoot you straight. You know why? Because everyone's been living and dying on that sword. That's the way you do it. You find the deal first. Nah. If you do,
it's funny, man. I've told so many people, you know, after kind of my experience and kind of the things I've learned, I think one of the biggest lies told, and it's a popular one, one of the biggest lies told for real estate is that if you find a good enough deal, the money will just find you. It'll be easy. I would challenge anyone on that, because there is a graveyard filled with really, really good deals that nobody could find money or a buyer for.
Yeah.
And good deals relative, right? You know, there's a lot of, I got a lot of really good deals on paper. I mean, guys, it meant like all the rules times two. I mean, like I was getting these things for like 50%, 50%, 60% ARV, right? Like not including repairs. They weren't in war zone neighborhood. Like, I mean, it wasn't like out like in some mountain. I mean, like it's just, you couldn't understand why. And then I thought like, oh, okay, well, I need to be blasting out to like all these buyers. Like when I get a deal, you know, it's about doing everything at scale. And nope, lost a lot of money that way too. And guys, kind of the foundation of what we're talking about, what we teach. And if you're like, well, you know, what if someone else is in my market and they talk to the buyers, or like whatever the case may be, you know, why, how do I know this will work for me? You know, what makes you so sure this will work? Guys, buyers do business with people they have a relationship with. You can have a great deal and you can blast it out, and there are like the majority of buyers, they won't even look at it because they don't have a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I think you've had some experiences to where, correct me if I'm wrong, to where a buyer was like, hey, I saw this deal.
Yeah, bro.
Get blasted out. Can you actually go and get that for me?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
I can pay this price. Can you go get it for me? And then you can make, you know, whatever.
Yeah, because they trust me,
because
right?
they knew you, they had a relationship with you, and they trusted you.
Yeah, exactly. This was a $15,000 deal. No, I think it was 25, and I took 15. No, I took 10 and they took 15 on a JV deal. They had blasted out. My buyer saw it. I called my buyer. I said, hey, you should look at this deal. He's like, oh, you mean this one I already got? I said, yeah, but I'm working with him now. You should look at it. He's like, okay. And then we got the deal done. So he had it in his email. He just didn't know who the guy was because he was from Atlanta. The guy that was sent out the deal that I networked with just wasn't from Utah. So because he just didn't know that wholesaler, he didn't look deeper into it. Look,
real
quick, let me say this. Look at the life of a flipper or a cash buyer. They don't have all day to look through their emails and analyze deals. So if they see something that an eye test they don't feel good about, they don't even pursue it any further. Were you gonna say something, Nathan?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's so true, man. Because it's you know, the technology, it's getting easier and easier for you know, us to kind of build lists and find people that we're looking for. So especially for these buyers, these investors, it's very easy for us to kind of pull a list and do a text blast or an email blast, or get, you know, an email list from someone else. And so what happens is these buyers, that's just for the past like few years, they've been starting to get just bombarded by all, and it's guys, the majority of things that come across their desk, like the vast majority, it's People doing it the painful way, right?
That's
They'll go to a
right,
seller, they'll get something under contract, and then they just blast it out.
And by the way,
Right?
guys,
And you don't kind of know half of what's going on. And yeah, please.
it works. It does work. I'm not poo-pooing on all these guys and saying they're trash. It's just way harder than the other way. It's way more painful. I got someone in the live saying, so most of the YouTube real estate investor gurus are full of it. That's what he says mostly. Look, I'll be straight with everyone here because I'm always straight. I'm always direct. I personally believe, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but I personally believe people pitch go get deals first is because they make more money on products they sell. Trying to tell you guys to go spend money on like software services and stuff. I use Batch Leads. I use Privy. I use a bunch of these different ones, but I use it like educated. I use it the right way. I use it when I'm targeting a specific area. But if you're a noob, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to go and send it, just go to a random place. You don't know what you're doing. You're going to just send it. You're going to just cold call it. You're going to spend all your money and time. You don't know what's going on. When, if you do it strategically, it makes sense. So Sean, I don't want to throw anyone in the bus and say they're all full of it, but I will say that the way that because I've been through the pain of the roller coaster. Yes, I think a lot of them just tell you to go find a deal and they don't understand. Maybe they haven't done it in a while. I don't know who you're talking about, but they haven't done it in a while to know it doesn't work like that as much anymore, where you can just send out money, a blast, and get something and it's done. Especially with the market shift, you have to do this. And again, I want everyone to know, I'm not saying the sky's falling on wholesaling. I'm just saying you're doing it the wrong way, and there's better ways to do it. I just made what 50K, like a total 50K fee in like a month. Who doesn't want 50,000 in a month? Even if you got to split it with someone with no marketing spend. Anyway, that's all I got, bro. That's all I got. I don't know. Nate, you got anything else to say? Jackie, AJ, Jackie, I know Jackie, you probably got something to say. You worked for real estate investors for a long time. Do you have something you want to add to that?
Oh, well, I would have to agree. I used to work he's a great guy, to be honest. However, I guess the marketing approach that we have is way different, and, kind of lose a lot of money in the process. Now I work for Nathan, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Hey, Jackie, it kind of explained to them, I know exactly why your old VA business that you worked with failed. Can you kind of explain to people what you did?
So I basically train cold callers on how to do cold calling. I used to train people on how to do texting. And we kind of provide a turnkey business for this big guy who has money to invest in marketing. So basically, my previous boss offers that kind of service, and kind of 3 months process. And then we do provide them good leads.
Of course. Yes.
However, I mean, that's the job. We provide warm to hot leads. However, in the process, we do have, we have the deal under contract. Yeah, but the disconnect is when, it's in the closing, it's in the disposition that we have the problem.
Right. You guys are probably great at finding deals, probably great at finding leads, but when you had to find a buyer and sell it, that's probably where it was a struggle, because you were like, ooh, this isn't actually a deal. Nobody wants this.
Well, our contract with my previous bosses, as long as we provide at least 2 leads a day, and we did that. It's even hot leads that we can get them.
Of course.
However, the disconnect is when they need, on the other side of the business, is when they need to dispo the lead and they couldn't find a buyer for it.
Exactly. And that's exactly why that business failed, is the reason why a lot of businesses fail. A lot of people think they can hire out enough output to keep their business going, when in all reality, they spend a ton of money, they don't have the buyers, and they don't get the deal closed. And that's her business. The guy's business didn't work out because he was giving a done for you approach to investors, where all they had to do is pay and they would get returns. And it's like, hey, don't work like that, brother. You need those relationships, then plug and play. But I'm sure that wasn't how it was being portrayed or showed.
Unfortunately. Well, I'm glad I'm glad that I was able to really pivot to a different approach now.
Yeah, it's way easier. So, thank you, Jackie. Thank you for that. We have Kelly Joyner saying, why wouldn't you utilize the MLS or realtors? Kelly, that's a great idea. That's a great question. I use the MLS and realtors to do what I teach. I use it to find deals. I use it to find buyers. I don't know why they don't teach that. I think I don't know what you've been learning, but what I've learned is find the deal, spend the money, skip trace, cold call, any form of marketing, then find the buyers. Again, you can use the MLS to find buyers and then reverse engineer and find them something they want. It's crazy that they don't teach it the right way. But I don't know. I don't know why. And I've talked to like Jesse from Batch Leads. I've talked to a bunch of people, and they're like, that are higher up, and they're like, yeah, I don't know why people don't do it the other way. It just makes sense. I don't know what's happened. But again, I can't trash everybody. I'm not trying to trash anyone. It has worked. I spent 4 years doing it where I was making money. I'm not completely broke because of what I did. It worked, but it was painful as bump on that roller coaster. And right now it's not very painful. It's pretty easy. You just got, and if you spend enough time, energy, and money doing it, you can do it. I made 72 just listing property, different time, but yeah, Kelly made 72,000 just listing property. Great. And I think that's the right way to do it. Kelly, the reason why a lot of these people can't list properties is because they don't own it. And when you don't own the property, you can't list it unless you do like a novation or some different kind of strategy, which novations are a great way to do business too. That's a different business model. What I'm telling you is wholesaling. Novations are like, you take it down, you tell them you're going to list it. That works too, but that doesn't always work either. Like, unless you get a great deal. And Kelly said one property. So if you guys are interested in learning the strategy, that's what we're here for. That's what the painless, the Investor Thrive is built around, is making things less painful for you guys. And that's what we're here. So if you want to sign up for the Academy, Mastermind, or Mentorship, depending on how much, support you want, we'd love to work with you. Nathan, do you have anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Man, I'd say that's it. I really don't have much to add other than, in my experience, I think Alex Hormozi says it best. He's like, you're going to pay for it one way or the other. You're going to pay for it in time and painful experiences, or you can pay for it, in money and get that speed and learn it today and implement and then get the success from learning it today. That's one thing. It took me a while to learn that until I was okay with spending money on kind of my education. And as soon as I did, it was a game changer for me. So exactly. Anyone that's on the fence, hope that's able to kind of help you make a decision. And yeah, either way, whether you sign up, don't sign up, I just hope after listening to this call, just at least the principles that we're talking about, if you are still looking to kind of continue and figure it out on your own, use this method. You go about things the way that we're talking about, right? Start with the end in mind, start with those relationships. I promise you will not regret that you did that.
Love it. Hey, Nate, and if you guys like this, let us know. Let us know how we can improve. I'm always down to improve. So if there's anything I can do, let me know. But we might do another one of these and kind of show you more case studies. I'm actually going to do another one of these where I show you how I did this with Noble's deal, where we made $19,000 off of a relationship I had. I made one call on a deal that from Noble, who was in the program. I made one call. And we got it done at 19K deal. One call. Who'd like to make 19,000 fee in, on my end, it took me like an hour. That's it wasn't 19,000. I made 7,400, but in 1 hour, 2 hours, let's go. All right. Peace out, everybody. See you, and hope to have you join the mastermind, the mentorship. Love to work with you. Peace. Peace out, Wes. It's good seeing you. Thanks for joining the live.